Welcome back to GEISELSBERG for episode 4 with me, MrSealyp. I'm over at the pig farm at the moment. I've just remembered this is where I left the elephant loader with the biobelts bucket. I did get another bucket. I also bought this weight after the first episode. I can't remember if I showed it or not. This is the weight for the Sintrack, but I put it on the back of this because when I was loading up a lot in the front, it was tipping quite badly. I've decided I am going to get rid of the Lintrack. I like it. It's a small, nimble little tractor. I just don't think it hasn't got the power, and I'm only using it at the moment over here for just clearing up the pig feed and stuff like that. That seems to me to be a waste of a tractor. I'm going to get a little small loader for doing that. Something with a trailer hitch so I can still do the water and stuff like that. And then we'll look at another tractor. I have been offered a deal on a Arian, a little small Arian. What I'm going to do first, actually, I'm going to take this back to the store. We'll swap this out, and then I'm going to take the loader down. Probably add some more weight onto the back of that because I have leased the Farm Tech IT Runner muck spreader. I was going to go with the Straw Blitz because that does lime as well. That being said, I don't need to do any liming at the moment, and I'm only leasing, I'm not buying. When I come to buy, I might well do. The Straw Blitz has only got a 19,200 litre capacity, whereas the Farm Tech is 32,000 litres. So for muck spreading on field 55 for KJ Wiggums, it just makes more sense to go with the slightly larger one. But I need to load that because obviously my manure was delivered and that's in a big heap on the floor in the farmyard, so I'm going to have to load that into the muck spreader. I'm also going to bring the harvester down from field 55 to my field where I've got wheat on the ground. We'll sort that out. I've been pricing up the construction of stabling areas. I might do some landscaping. I might even do some logging to clear a bit of the forest down where I am and put them in that area. Just a few different ideas I've got kind of mulling over in my head, really. So we'll sell that. 75. Okay, that's more than I thought I was going to get for that. Okay, so we can get what I was going to get. Again, I fancied something different. So I know I'm going down that same route but I just loved this when I did the review of it. The little Taurian, 64 grand. It's around the same sort of size as the Kramer. It's only 68 horsepower. It doesn't need to be anything mad. I'm going to get standard. You can get it with twins on the front. I don't need doubles or twins. So we're going to get that. It comes automatically with the front loader attacher. It's kind of weighted over the back end because that's where the engine is, so I don't need to wait for it. That can go into the pig farm and I can use that with pallet forks. So any little jobs like that we can need a little loader for. That's going to be perfect. Farmyard work, pallet work. There's a bucket already over there. Job done. Plus it looks brilliant. I love it. Yeah, so that's our new purchase, and that actually leaves us a little bit better off than we were. It's increased our money. Oh, we spoke to Big Papa C as well, and he said absolutely go ahead, we can sort out the plough. So the one we had leased will go back and we will buy one. I don't know if we're going to go with the 6M. It's a tricky one because finances are tight at the moment. There is the Weber, what was the Weber 6M? The 6M anyway, which is 17 grand, but there's also the case one. Now the Weber is 6 metres, obviously it's a 6M, but the case one is 5.3, so not that much narrower, and it's only 10 grand. So I'm umming and ahhing whether or not to go for the Weber, which is what he offered, or potentially go for something a little bit cheaper to start off with. I don't know, I might just go for the Weber in all honesty. It's all these decisions you have to make, you know. This will be perfect for doing the pig farm stuff, for doing feed, doing the hay. I'll be able to hook up to, I think I'll be able to hook up to. I'm going to leave this water tanker. There are a few different options available, but I thought I'd just Christ, this is quite nimble. Oh, please tell me it hooks up. Oh, seriously, that's got a rear hitch though. Why is that not? Oh, that's annoying. That's going to be a bit of a problem. Oh, blimey. I'm going to check that. Okay, well, we'll have to do water. I have to come over with something with a 3-point link. It's mildly frustrating. Right, okay, so we can clean out the feed area anyway. Beacon can go off. I can still do pallet work and stuff like that. That's not too much of a problem. So, let's clean out the feed area. I need to get on with these other jobs. I do have 3 or 4 contracts. I've just been going through our contract folder. And I think we've got 3 or 4 contracts for pigs. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this. We'll have to really up our game. We've got our 50 and they will breed. But, yeah, don't know. We'll have to think about that. Let's get this down. Actually, what I could do is get some front forks, actually, for that as well. Some forks, and I can get over to field 39 with, oh, mind you, I say with a small trailer. That's if anything hooks up to it. Maybe I should have gone for the, mind you, the slightly larger one was 116 grand, isn't it? The Sinus. I'm going to go with Sinus and just stick with that. So, let's get back over to the farmyard. Let's get some of this muck loaded up. This bucket's actually quite wide, isn't it? Let's raise it a little bit. There we go. Now, not all of my contracts are as complicated as the one from KJ. Let's cut across that way this time. Without taking up people's fences. Might have to look and put a little track in across here maybe at some point, I think. So I say, the harvester will come back down. I'll get the normal header on that. We'll do our wheat field because I can get swath off that. It's interesting how, as our contracts have been coming in, I've had 2 or 3 for class, obviously I said that would probably happen, from the local class dealership being offered various different deals. I've got a company that are doing a Future Farms exhibition and class have sponsored it, but they want a local farmer to test out some equipment that's going to be shown at the Future Farm show. So I've been offered some various different bits of machinery and equipment from that, but obviously we don't want to go too mad on the class stuff. I mean, I do want to go mad on the class stuff, but there's only so much that a person can take, and I don't mean me. I would happily do it in a heartbeat. Alright. I need to move that head. Right. This weight should be enough actually. It's not a big weight, but... Right. Let's get some of this loaded. This is the reason why I didn't leave this on the back, because I have a funny feeling this loader, it goes fairly high, doesn't it? God, that's peculiar, isn't it? A little bit higher than that. Oh, it does. There we go. Actually, it doesn't need to be that high, does it? Again, this is another reason why we are definitely going to need a second tractor, something large-ish, or say large-ish, medium-sized, for this very reason, because I'm loading with this, but this is also the vehicle I'm going to need to be hooking up to that, which I don't need to. If I had another tractor, I could set up another tractor hooked up to the IT runner. I'm just so conscious of money. Until we can get a few contracts done and get some money rolling in, and it's great that people offer me in payment I'm getting crops and milk and manure and stuff like that, and that is helping out for some of these jobs, but I really do need some money. We need cold hard cash. Maybe we need to get sponsored. If we get sponsored by a local company, Papa Farms, sponsored by, well, whatever it might be. And don't say Kate. Well, yeah, it would be Kate, wouldn't it? This should be it, shouldn't it? So don't know how far this is going to go on the field either. Hello. Maths really off on this then. 1,000 litres. Well, it's just under 8,000. 3 times 8. Okay, yeah, it's probably just going to be a tiny little bit now, isn't it? Tiny, tiny bit. I don't know what I'm doing, fall over. There we go. I think what I might do, I might take a full buck out with me as well. So what we'll do, let's just pop the weight over there. Don't fall out. Stupid thing. Alright, so let's get that hooked up. This is the thing, you've got the SIN track. You've got the SIN track with a 3-point link on the back, which is a separate implement. On the back of that I've then got the IT runner, which is a separate implement. On the back of that I've got the Farm Tech, which is a separate implement. The Fortis is what it is, I couldn't remember what it was called. So you end up bouncing between loads of different things. So this is 400 odd horsepower. I seem to struggle every now and again. Now that's better. Let's get a bit of a spurt on. The sun should be coming out fairly soon. What are we? 20 past 10. But there's obviously some serious weight on the back of this, isn't there? Looks like a dustbin lorry that on the back like that. So I'll make a start on this, then what I'll do is I'll bring the harvester down, we'll get that going. I'm trying to think, yeah, I do need to sort out the horse situation. I do have a contract, I've got quite a few logging contracts as well, logging and wood chipping contracts, I'll get onto at some point. I'll drip feed them in, we'll do some, I'm not going to do like 5 episodes of just logging. We need to open that up. Well, that comes a long way up, doesn't it? See how wide this spreads, shall we? Oh, fairly wide, okay. I can see my 200,000 litres of manure disappearing very quickly, and I was hoping that I would be able to use some of it to pay a couple of, well, not pay, but help out a couple of people who had asked for manure. That may not be the case, I think. We may have a problem there. No, it's not going down as fast, but it doesn't help that I'm not right over there. We go, that's a bit better. Right, I'm going to go off the end here a little bit. And then switch it off. Let's swing round in the trees. Maybe not. I thought I might be able to get round there, but probably not. Now I know with certain machinery you can drill, but he was very specific that he wanted this cultivated. I mean, technically, when you're... Look at the front wheels on that. Bent right out. I think there's a lot of weight on that front end, aren't there? And the tyre looks really deformed as well. I mean, it looks fantastic, but there is a lot of weight over that front end. Yeah, I mean, technically that is cultivating, isn't it? If you're direct drilling, because a lot of the direct drills have a kind of cultivated type bit on them. But I don't think I'll get away with it, in all honesty. Right, let's go. Still quite dark in certain places. Any little bits I've missed I will touch up later on. Okay then, we are getting there anyway. This actually worked out quite well, the IT runner back on this, 32,000 litre FarmTech Fortis. Seems to be pulling it okay. Let's just come up there and then we'll stop there. Oh, I just missed that tree as well. Right. Okay, field 55's done then for muck spreading. That needs cultivating, then seeding, then it will need slurrying, and once that's done, I can leave that until I then have to come back and sort out the silage bales for KJ Wiggums. What I am going to do is just... Actually, you know what? I need to disconnect that. I'm just going to put this load in. And then what we'll do is we'll harvest our field down the bottom. And then I can actually, I might as well just muck spread that. I've got some in it. What I need to do, onto that one. Okay. So it's a lot of switching around, isn't it? Yeah, I'll go up on that. So even on the trailer, actually, on the IT runner bed, it will still reach. That's quite good. Quite handy. Fantastic. Right down. Cool. Right, let's go and fire this up. Oh, it looks good. It looks good. So I'll drop off this header, that was leased, that was from class, but that was just leased, so that can go back. The other header is ours. I'm going to have to invest in a mower, aren't I? Even if it's just a front mower. I don't know if I'm going to get a butterfly mower. I have been offered a set. Like I say, I've been offered some machinery, so I have been offered a set with a front mower, the full disco set, you know. But realistically, if I'm going to run a baler wrapper behind me, or just my own baler, it depends what I'm doing, whether I'm doing grass or whether I'm doing just collecting straw swath. If I'm doing grass and I want to make silage, or I'm doing hay, I'm going to need to cut grass. So I'm waffling now. I'm in my head. I'm just trying to work out the best way of doing it. I need to go to that corn maze. I think it's a field over that way, I think. I mean, it's fairly tight around, but with this sort of size harvester, I think that's why I said earlier on, you could maybe run two. You can maybe run two harvesters, and you wouldn't have a problem. You wouldn't have to resort to necessarily getting a massive harvester and then struggling to get it about. I think that's another reason why getting the Lexion that we've been offered to do fields 1 and 2 for Jeremy is fantastic. And the other thing being that we're only going to use them on fields 1 and 2, so I haven't got to transfer them around the map at all, which is going to make life so much easier, around the map. Right, let's open this up. Get around there, one tree. Will we get between that? Oh, just about. It should be still set on swath dropping, so hang on. Is this, what crop is this? That's wheat. Maybe it's not. What's happened here? Why is the swath turned off? Oh, because I just did... because I did sunflower, didn't I? Of course. There we go. We're not going to get a lot of wheat off this. That will go into storage. I do have a job. We'll get onto that as well at some point. It's actually for chickens, but we'll get onto that. But so I could use the wheat for feeding the chickens, actually, couldn't I? I suppose it's right tight to the edge, isn't it? Wind out for the log pile. Do not want to catch the header on that. Go. Yeah, so this woodland here, this bit of, say, forest, this bit of woodland is on part of the land that we own, that we started off with. So I'm thinking of clearing some of the trees and maybe doing a little bit of landscaping back into there. I could maybe extend this field a little bit. I think I mentioned it right at the start. But I'm thinking about putting the horse stable, or I think I might go for two of the smaller ones, because a horse stable is going to set me back 50 grand, or two of the smaller ones 16. So again, that kind of seems a bit of a no-brainer. I don't have the money to buy a 50 grand stable. I know I'll make the money back when we get right way through and the horses are done. That's going to be 10 days. So I just think two of the smaller ones, because I think I've got contracts at the moment for 4 horses, 2 for Big Papa C, one that I mentioned the other day for a young lady who's got a birthday coming up, and then I've got one from don't know if you remember on Marwell Manor Farm we had Chad, who was a policeman, and they had police horses. They asked for oats for the police horses. As far as I can gather, they're disbanding the kind of mounted department, division, and he's offered me a horse and said, do I want one? So they're going to send me one of the horses, which is great. So that puts me up to 4. So I think 2 of the smaller enclosures might be a better way to go with it, I think. Yes, I'm thinking once this is baled and I get the bales off this, the manure I've got up in there, rather than just return it or empty it back out, I might as well just muck spread this. Then I've got a fertilising state on it straight away. I've got the rest of the manure sitting just there, literally by the side of the field, so it makes sense to use it while I'm here. I am going to have to buy some slurry though. I don't know how much slurry my pigs have made, because the next step on field 55 up there was once it's seeded, its first growth stage, it needs to be slurried. So if I haven't got enough on hand for my pigs, I might have to buy some slurry. I know there's a Sengstocks outlet somewhere near here, an outlet store. It gets about a bit to Sengstock. If you haven't watched any of my Let's Plays, subscriber contracts, I did on Lone Oak, and there was Sengstocks Slurry, or Sengstocks Slurry Emporium was what it started out as, and then when it went into manure as well, it then became Sengstocks Organics. Yeah, quite a bit of stuff available in the Sengstocks range now. And it's Holger Sengstock, not Helga Sengstock, as I said once. I did apologise profusely for that. Anyway, right, I'm waffling. I've got to get this done. We'll move a bit of machinery around, and I will see you in a minute. I think I'll square bale this as well. We've got the baler. So I've been putting all of my contracts now into folders. They're kind of in one folder for Papa Farms as they come in, but now I'm having to actually categorise them. I've got baling contracts, we've got triticale contracts, rye contracts, contracts for horses, contracts for pigs. So I'm actually having to put them into separate folders, so I don't kind of... It's just easier that way. I can then nip into each folder and look at the ones that are relevant for whatever I'm doing at that particular time. So I think, as I said when this all started out, it's actually kind of a bit of an administration thing. You have to really get your head round. But I love it. I absolutely love it. As you can probably tell. Right, I've just dropped off the manure trailer, or back, because I've just suddenly realised, I've just suddenly remembered, the harvester has now got a full grain tank, and I'm actually, okay, I'm having that sitting there doing nothing. My trailer is up at Baywa, because KJ Wigham's sunflower, turn that off and that off. Let's move that back out the field so I can unload it. The sunflower was taken up to Baywa to be collected, so I need to go and collect my trailer back because I need to unload this now. There's a lot of toing and froing. I get to drive around the map, which is always nice. So I'm going to go and get that. I will be back momentarily. Literally, in the snap of the fingers. There we go, didn't take a minute, did it? 'Twas but a moment. Right. Let's unload this, and you can crack on. It's like with every other map you do, any other farm you do, any other farm you set up, there's always, and I've said it so many times on my Let's Plays, there's all the build-up, there's all the farming stuff, you know, all the bits you do to prep everything, getting everything ready, It's all the little bits here and there, and then you get that snowball effect that when you hit a certain point, it all just seems to go mad at the same time. And I think it's the same with doing subscriber contracts. Is you pick out the ones to start off and get the ball rolling, and sometimes it's a bit not necessarily repetitive, but when you're doing harvesting, you're doing baling, you've got to collect them all up, and you do end up doing a few of the same types of jobs. But then when you get a bit of a head of money up and that kind of thing, all of a sudden you find yourself going absolutely mad trying to keep up with everything, and you are literally plate spinning. You're just trying to keep everything in the air and going. And again, I love that. That's all part and parcel of doing it. It's that kind of organisational thing you're trying to work out in your head, what to do first, what to do when, how to make sure they all kind of run consecutively, or if you've got them so they finish at the right times. It's just, I don't know, it's all part of doing it. I thought I'd let the worker go, and it appears that a straight line is that direction, not following the field, but we'll get it all done. What I'm going to do though, while he's doing that, let's go and have a scout over at the cornfields, because we've got to work out how we're going to do this maze. And I don't mean maze as in corn, I mean like an actual maze. If you didn't watch the last episode, we've got to do a maze within the cornfield for the local church group. They're having like a big celebration thing, and they want a maze. So yeah, I mean, landscaping would be the obvious way to do it. I think maybe just come out here with some shovels and scythes and just cut it in. But I'm not really entirely sure how we're going to go about it. This is the cornfield, so I think we're going to have to draw out some sketches of mazes, and yeah, I mean, I really don't know. I think this is the one. Let's just have a quick look on the map. Yeah, field 57. Actually, what we'll do, let's have a quick look in here, shall we? Let's go on to this. I'm not going to start yet, in all honesty, but let's swing that down. And let's whiz on over, shall we? So I suppose, yeah, it's doable, isn't it? I mean, you could do it with landscaping. That's going to be really, it's a big field and all, isn't it? And normally you have in the middle you'll have where you're aiming for. Can I zoom out much? Oh, actually, that might not be a bad way of doing it. I have to give this some thought. I mean, like I say, we'll go in with some machinery, but I'm just thinking for an overview to see how it's looking. That's another one. I thought, yeah, that looks absolutely fantastic. We'll have a crack at that one. And now I'm thinking, how am I actually going to do that? Oh well. I'm sure it'll all work out fine. We need to buy this part of the farm as well, because I want to use these silage pits. I want to be able to tip backwards into these at some point as well. But that's going to be, we're going to need a bit more money to do that. Well, a little bit blurry on my vision then. Yeah, so we'll get there. We will get there. Oh yeah, cultivator. You know what? There's no point me sitting doing nothing. I might as well get cracking, get back up to field 55 and get the cultivating done over there. We've bought the plough. The plough's there. So we've bought the plough. Big Papa C's bought the plough. Just need to go and collect the plough. But as far as a cultivator goes, like I say, don't want to go too mad. Don't want to go too expensive. We'll go for something a fair size that we can pull fairly easily. The lizard, I do like that one. 25 grand though. How wide is that? 7.8, and the row is only 12 grand and it's 6.6. Yeah. I mean, we're going to be looking at kind of 6 metre equipment, aren't we? Let's be honest. Disc harrows, I don't think we're going to get one. Oh, there's the case, isn't there? Of course there is. That's only 10 grand for a 9.8 metre. Ah, well, there we go. No brainer. Let's get that. Case IH red, or let's go with yellow. I think my plough's yellow as well. So we'll have our ploughing and cultivating set up yellow. Design. What was the difference on that? I can't remember now. What changed on the design thing? We'll go with standard. Attach type trailer, or are we going to go for like a 3-point link version, or just trailer? We'll go trailer hook, I think. That way we could do cultivating with various different bits of equipment. Okay, let's buy that. We now have our cultivator. I'll go and collect that. Let that get me working. I just went round the farmyard. I don't know why I walked off in that direction. My tractor's over here. Just went round the farmyard. Why did I leave the tractor? I literally just left it here. So let's disconnect that. I have to say, on using this a little bit more, hooking and unhooking and putting on the elephant trunk loader or the elephant trunk loader, you know what I mean? I'm noticing a few minor problems with the SynTrack. We're having some mechanical failures, so it may well be we may have to look at actually replacing it anyway. What is it worth? What's it worth? Oh, 210. We'll get a little bit more than 210. I don't know, I'm just thinking 210. Maybe we might get 230 if we sell it in the store. For 230 grand, am I going to be able to get a 400 horsepower tractor? Probably not. I had this on Washoe, this cultivator, and I didn't use it very often. So I didn't do that much cultivating, honestly, because I had direct drills, but because this is asked specifically for, and I think we will do a bit more cultivating. But I will need to buy a seeder as well. But like I say, I'm going to go with the John Deere one to start off with. It's only 6 grand for a 6 metre, so why would you not? Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Another job we can crack on with. Get around there. Actually, what I'll do, lift it. I should make fairly light work of this. And I think another thing with subscriber contracts is, whereas if you do a Let's Play yourself, you're more inclined to take shortcuts in so much as you'll use a direct drill rather than cultivate. That kind of no-till idea, or system, not idea, it's not like a theory, it does work. But you will use machinery that makes your life easier, that makes jobs quicker and that kind of thing. Subscriber contracts, if people are requesting or asking for specific things to be done, you do them as part of the contract. If that means putting in a couple of extra steps that you wouldn't do normally if you were doing it yourself, that's no bad thing, because you do get to then use machinery and stuff that normally you would kind of either shy away from or you wouldn't use because it takes a little bit longer. And we are all inherently, not lazy is the wrong word, because people, when it comes to things like this, you're going to take shortcuts and you're going to try and do things quicker, and that is a generalisation. Not everyone does, because there are people that will do everything absolutely by the book, exactly how it is done in the real world. But yeah, look at the way that's leaning. And this is the difference between this and the plough, because this sits flat on the ground, whereas the plough wasn't. I can allow the tractor to have the auto levelling on. Anyway. It's kind of back to basics in a way, isn't it, really? That harvest is going to be full again soon, unless it's already come up saying it's full. I was so busy watching what I'm doing I didn't really pay attention to that bit, but it could already be done. So I'm thinking maybe next episode we'll have a crack on with that corn maze. We'll have to see if we can do something with that. I'll get the seeding done in here on the next episode, and we'll have a look at the corn maze. I'll have to do some work baling my field that I'm just doing, and then I think we might have to look at doing an episode where we do a little bit of forestry over in my area, so we can get the horses situation sorted out, or we're going to have to do some landscaping somewhere, because obviously none of the land is particularly flat. It all either slopes this way down towards the farm, we go over the ridge where GEISELSBERG is and it slopes away the other side, so finding a nice flat place to put them is going to be a little bit trickier. All sorts of make out. Right, you are. Shall I raise that? No. Of course I did. Fold that. Let's get it back to the yard. Cultivated. That needs seeding next. That's done. The harvester had actually stopped work. Just been on the radio to the workers there. Now it's saying it's not nearly full grain tank. I couldn't figure out why it hadn't come up saying it was nearly full or full, because it had stopped working. The worker had cleared off for a cup of tea. There you go. It's completed their task. They haven't completed their task, but they're going to need some guidance, I think, is the best way of putting it. What we'll do is we'll grab the baler. I'll get the worker going on that, and I'll get that baled. So I'm thinking, yeah, start next episode, we'll get the bales collected. Might manually stack them actually, interesting I think. We need this, I think I might take this through. Will this fit through the door here? Should do, let's have a look. It is a drive through, isn't it? We can. Let's put this in here. Yeah, we might manually do some. Where's the? I know. Is it called the 4 stack? It does 3s, not 4s, which is weird. But it's 4 as an FOR, I think, not FOUR. Where's the Quadro Pack V? I love that thing. Grab the baler. It's all go, innit? Whoa, mind the wing mirror. There we go. Yeah, he hasn't finished, or she. Turn it on. Drop it down. Let's clear this out of the way first. Stop there a second. Da-dum-dum-dum-dum. Let's get it done. So that is one thing about this area. And me saying earlier on about the shortcuts is the best way, not laziness, the shortcuts. That, we'll call it that. The shortcuts. You can't really on a lot of these, unless you've sorted yourself out, like I used to on Marwell Manor Farm, you kind of get yourself a rectangle, you get yourself an area that you do yourself, and then you can set a worker off. Because there are a lot of the fields around this area that you can't, you do have to actually do them yourself. You do have to do the farming, you do have to do the sowing, seeding, planting, whatever you call it, the harvesting yourself. You do have, you know, so you do get far more hands-on. You can't just go, right, hire a worker and clear off, because it doesn't always work out that well. And there are a lot of maps it doesn't, where the workers seem to have a mind of their own, and they just kind of do their own thing, really. Whoa. Do not want to stick the harvester down there. Oh, that's close. And that's the problem, I suppose, isn't it? If you haven't done a headland, that's where the worker would end up. You can put money on it. It's going to be in a river, in a pond, down a ditch, off a cliff. Oh, that's a nimble little beast, this. Wow, he says. Too nimble weapon there. Does not engage the header. I did that yesterday, I'm sure I did, over field 55. I think I would have learned, so I'm getting too excited. Ahead of myself. Right, let's see if we can get the workers to do this little bit down here, and I'll get on with doing the baling. Once the baling's done, we'll get some muck spreading done. Might need ploughing actually, let's check that very, very quickly. If it does need ploughing, we'll get it ploughed. So we might as well try and get maximum yield, whatever we're going to do. I don't know whether I might stick rye in this one. It's nearly full in it, that's typical. Didn't even notice down the bottom. Yeah, let's have a look. How are we looking on this one? Fruit types, growth. Harvested, soil composition. Yep, needs ploughing, and if I turn that off, I bet it needs lime as well, doesn't it? Yeah, of course it does. Oh, that's a point. Oh no, that's alright. Cool. So I'm going to need a lime. Oh, my thing does lime, doesn't it? What am I talking about? I think it does, doesn't it? My fertiliser spreader does lime as well. Sure it does. Sure it does. Okay, that's unloaded. Last little bit of the field to do, so I will now get this baled. And I think with plans in my head, working around what we need to be doing, prepping for and allowing for the next couple of contracts, the KJ Wiggums one will be continuing, so I've got a bit more to do on that. Like I say, yeah, there's a few bits and bobs. So we should be moving on to the next couple, at least starting them. We've got some new machinery. We have done a little bit more on a couple and prepping for others. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest, whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.